Hey, what's going on? It is your friend Buck at the No Tape Deck podcast. We are back today with episode number 10. Oh, listen to that. I hit the button again. Jeez. Would you listen to that? We're back with episode 10 today with an awesome artist, singer, songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee, Ash Taylor. Hello, Ash.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time and coming on the pod. Appreciate it.
Oh, of course. I love your podcast, so I'm honored to be here.
Thanks. And since we've connected, I love your music, and I can't wait to talk about it. And for the folks checking this out, Ash is also a fellow podcaster as well, which is very, very unique. So that's a first for the No Tape Deck podcast to have a singer songwriter and podcaster on here as well.
Yeah. I've had people tell me for years that I should start a podcast, and I guess I don't know, there's no time like the present. So yeah, I guess I enjoy just keeping myself really busy, right? So like being a recording artist and touring artist isn't enough. It's like, be a podcaster, just one more thing. But I enjoy it. I mean, I think it's fun, right? To me, it's all about telling stories, whether it's with song or coming on and getting to talk with you or having people on my podcast. It's all just storytelling to me.
Yeah, and I've definitely checked out a few episodes and nice work there. And I definitely dig your music. And you are originally from Bakersfield, but living in Nashville. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. How long have you been out in Nashville for?
So I've been here in Nashville for it will be 9 years this August.
Awesome.
And I love it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I'll live here for the rest of my life. But yeah, I grew up in Bakersfield, California. So clearly a very big country music town, lots and lots of history there. We're the birthplace of Merle Haggard,
Yep.
and you have, of course, the famous Bakersfield Sound, Buck Owens, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, Dwight Yoakam. But yes, I grew up out there, and so almost 9 years ago, I basically sold everything I owned, and I hopped on a plane and I came out here to Nashville. I had never seen Nashville before before I got off the plane that day. And man, my first like 6 months here in town, I actually slept in the back seat of my car.
Damn.
It was a Chrysler, yeah, Chrysler '06 PT Cruiser.
There you go.
But yeah, I just wanted to write songs so bad. So I literally, I mean, just picked up, sold everything, and came on out here.
Just by any means necessary. That is super rad and respectable. That is awesome. And to never visit there before. And it's like, well, hope when I get off the plane, I like it. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean it was scary, but I had connected with a hit songwriter here in Nashville, a gentleman by the name of Clay Mills. He wrote songs. Oh man, he has so many hits, but some of the big ones you might know is Darius Rucker's "Don't Think I Don't Think About It."
Yep.
He's written "Beautiful Mess" for Diamond Rio. I mean, lots and lots of songs, but we connected, and he actually offered me a job being his intern for a song company he was working on. And he was basically like, hey, I think you're great and super talented, but like, you're never going to get anywhere writing songs in your bedroom. And I was
Right.
like, he's right. I mean, it's like, oh, that kind of hurts, but he's right. So yeah, that's when I was just like, all right, I just got to sell everything, jump on a plane and do it, because when you get an opportunity like that. And now looking back, I honestly think that is the best decision I have ever made. It was worth every bit of it.
Yeah, especially too coming from such an area that is so critical. Like you said, the Bakersfield sound, right? Like, Buck Owens,
Hmm.
like now I think the song's probably the Dwight Yoakam song, Streets of Bakersfield is probably going to be, I'm gonna have to listen to it later tonight. And I love
There you go.
Dwight Yoakam too. Um, so yeah, that's quite a leap. And what a sort of, is it the word kismet, right? I think I'm using that correctly. Spark,
Yeah,
right? To
yeah.
sort of like, give you that nudge. And man, yeah, and somebody that's worked with somebody like Darius Rucker with I mean, gosh, I loved Hootie back in the day, and then to make that transition successfully over to the country genre is super impressive. And another name I haven't heard in a while too is Diamond Rio. They're amazing, So to have that
Oh,
in his
so good.
quiver, and then say, hey Ash, here are my thoughts. That's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think for me, I never went to school for music or really
Mhm.
anything. I'm just a redneck out of California. That's what I always say. But, for me, it was such a learning experience, though, to get to study under people like him and others, and just watch Hall of Fame songwriters every single day sit in a room and create something out of absolutely nothing. And I think that's kind of just a really cool opportunity, though, to get to actually see how hit songs are written. And so, I mean, it's just invaluable. And I'm forever grateful to him for letting me, come out and to learn from him. But yeah, it was, man, just such a great opportunity and such a great time in my life for sure. It definitely was worth sleeping in the backseat of that little Chrysler. So definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's a badge of honor. Yeah, and it is like you said, it is like down home. You're, I mean, obviously you're from the area, but like there's some, rad spots over in that area. Like you're probably familiar with like New Koyama, Taft, Maricopa, all those little map dots out there too.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful places.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna come clean. I spent a couple years on the other side of the hill living in Pismo, so
Oh,
I I
nice.
made that drive quite a few times and thought it was absolutely awesome heading over to Bakersfield in the desert. And yeah, it's a rad town. There's a lot of rad stuff there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of history,
Yeah.
a lot of
A
history.
lot.
So yeah, I'm always very proud to be like from there
Yeah.
and a part of all of that. It seriously just means the world, and just try to represent it. I think it's cool. I think, now being in Nashville for so long, clearly my hometown is very proud and supportive, and
Right.
just means the world. But what I love too is like here in Nashville, people think it's really cool that you're from Bakersfield, which when I first got out here kind of shocked me because I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's, a cool town and all, but like, lots of dust, lots of agriculture, like there ain't much there really. But yeah, people really seem to, I don't know, give me some street cred, I guess, when I say I'm from Bakersfield, and that means a lot. So I just try to make them all proud.
Yeah. No, because like that was a counterculture movement in the country music genre.
Mm,
For the folks that maybe are gonna get acquainted with it now that haven't, didn't know that. So that is awesome. So I wanted
yeah.
to um when we connected and I, you know, went over, a couple things, right? It's like Apple, YouTube, like, oh, what does she have, right? The first song I landed on was Stuck on Indiana. Now, um, I just feel like if that thing saw the light of day from a radio perspective, like that song is incredible.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I
Yeah,
really appreciate that. That is very kind to say.
yeah,
So I wrote that song by myself, actually.
yeah,
That was 100%er. But I wrote that actually about my husband, Chris.
yeah.
So my husband is my band leader and lead guitar player, but
That's
he
right.
is an Indiana boy.
Okay.
So yeah, he grew up in Indiana, and I'm a California girl. And we met here in Tennessee at a guitar center. And I wrote it because I never thought I would get married, like ever. I just thought that I would basically write songs and hang out with my dog. And I thought I had my life planned out. And then he walked in the picture and just everything changed. So I guess you could say I'm stuck on Indiana. But yeah, I'm very proud of that song. So thank you so much for saying that. But it also means a lot to me, though, because it is about my husband and it's kind of like our story.
That's incredible. Yeah, because I was curious because I was connecting the dots. Like, well, she lives in Tennessee now, and clearly the Bakersfield and the California
Mm,
part. And that's yeah,
yeah.
that's even yeah, and to meet in a guitar center, obviously you're gonna have that mutual bond, instantly over which is it's always I mean it's a blast no matter what. Always going to Guitar Center, but yeah, to find
Right.
the one and only that day, which from like what I've seen too on your socials, it looks like y'all are in the studio, and that was kind of one of my questions. Collaborating and working together. That's amazing. That's awesome. Husband and wife.
Yeah. Yeah, husband and wife. I feel like we're almost a duo. But like on Stuck on Indiana, couple fun facts
Yeah.
is so when you hear any of the guitar parts, so if you go to Spotify or if you're watching a music video,
Okay.
so all the guitar parts that you hear on any of my records is actually either myself or my husband Chris.
Okay.
So on Stuck on Indiana, that's actually him playing all the lead guitar parts. So we got to like kind of create that a little bit together. So I told him he's going to get that big of a head though. I was like, hey, the song's kind of about you, and you're kind of playing on it. But I mean, that to me, I think is just very special, right? To have your husband there with you because he knows me so incredibly well,
Yeah.
and we work very well together musically. You know, we have a whole process, which is usually like I actually write the songs,
Hmm.
usually just by myself. You know, just being an acoustic, and then I'll sit him down on the couch and I'll just play it for him. Just raw like that. Just here's my vocal and acoustic live. Here's what I wrote, and he'll grab a guitar and he'll start figuring out lead parts, and then from there we take it into the studio. But yeah, he plays all the guitars with me, and then he also does all of the harmonies on that record. So we love it. But yeah, it's rare that I think you find a husband and wife that can work that closely together. But we've done it now for a couple of years. We've been together as a couple for 7 and married for 4, and we have not killed each other yet. So we still like each other, and it's just great. It's an amazing partnership for sure.
Yeah, that is super, super rad. That is awesome. Yeah, it just takes it to like that next level. But yeah, to not if I didn't like know you and I just heard it, it's like it has some like 90s sort of feel and relevance to it. It's very like summery, and it's very like, I don't know if anthemy is the right word, but like it has that I think a key ingredient where, like when you hear something for the first time, you kind of feel like you're a part of it because it feels familiar but new, but awesome.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I take that as a very big compliment. And that's something I really try to do with songwriting is because I think that's where it starts. Like I'll usually write a song and then like we'll get it good enough to where we can go out and kind of play it live, like just Chris and I acoustic.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know usually if a song is worth recording or not by the time I get to the end of the first chorus.
There
Like
you
when
go.
I hit that hook and I can look in the crowd and see how people react, I know if we're recording that song or if we're not. So I think because you can tell when people relate to something, and when they feel it, it's like cool. And then in the studio, like I'm really active and like
Hmm.
I co-produce all my records, and clearly Chris and I both play all these guitars and all that. But I really try just not to get in the way of the story. Like the song is king always. So it's like, always try to be in service of the song. So I really appreciate you saying that though, because at the end of the day, I think I am really just a storyteller. That's really just all I am. And sometimes I may wear different hats, like we were talking about. Sometimes I'm a podcast host. Sometimes I'm a songwriter. Sometimes I'm a touring artist. But it just doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm really, at the end of the day, I'm just telling a story.
Yeah, and that's incredible to hear. It's like seeing that like lifetime sort of like beta test, on the audience. And that's the thing too when you're in a venue and you're seeing somebody new that maybe that's like going to be somebody's first impression, right? It's like you want to,
Right.
it's the easiest thing, not easy, but it's the you want to stand there, bob your head, and feel kind of like you know it already was kind of the emotion that I was getting to, and then it pulls everybody in. It makes it inclusive. So and it kind of
Ah,
has,
I love that. Yeah.
even though it's not the same subject matter, but if there's like this layer of Deanna Carter on top of it to me.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Like that
yeah. Oh, I love
feel,
her.
but not exact sound because it's your own, it's unique, and it's rad. But it's just that sort of like, I'll just say sprinkled on top. That's the best way to put it. Sort of.
Yeah,
To me.
no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm definitely inspired too by like 90s and early
All right.
2000s country music. That's like kind of like what I grew up on. But then I also like my mom was really into like 80s rock. So I really love like
Sweet.
guitar driven music.
Yeah.
Love that kind of stuff. But yeah, and then I think too, like if you kind of go back to that whole being from Bakersfield thing,
Hmm.
I feel like I'm such a nerd because I've done such a deep dive on the history of my hometown through the years. But if you think about like Dwight Yoakam records and all that, it's very guitar driven.
Yeah.
And I love that about like kind of like the 90s and 2000s country. So I try to bring that back, and I just try to, even delivering a vocal, I keep it as real as possible. Like there are times where it's like it's not crazy perfect, and I'm cool with that. Just keeping the humanness in it and the flaw. And I think sometimes that can just help aid the song and really getting the emotion across. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Take it as a big compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it makes a little more sense because as I sort of play that song back in my head, it makes Chris's lead guitar riffs and licks makes it a little more palpable now and makes more sense there. Speaking of influences, you got into like early 2000s. Who's somebody from that era, country music wise, or whatever genre? It's up to you, but that really spoke to you and influenced you to be where you are today.
Ooh, hands down, Gretchen Wilson. I would have to put her at the very top of
Yeah,
that list.
hell yeah,
I I have a very vivid memory. I was in my grandparents' house, so my nana was a huge country music fan, and honestly, I think is where I got so much of the love for it.
okay,
But she always had on CMT,
yeah,
right, country music television,
I'm
and
familiar.
I remember this one day in particular. Oh, love CMT.
Yeah.
I remember this one day though, in particular, like we were sitting there and it said CMT world premiere.
Mhm.
And this video started, and it was this girl flying off of a four wheeler singing about being a redneck woman.
Yeah,
And I literally looked at my nana
100%.
and I said, that is what I want to be when I grow up. So yeah, I mean, I feel like she just like kind of reached through the TV and grabbed me off the couch and was like, this is what you're going to do. And I'm like, yes. So yeah, I think Gretchen Wilson is honestly the reason why we're here talking. So very big fan.
Yeah, I feel like because I remember when that song came out too in the early 2000s, and I feel like her sound cut through a lot of stuff that was even
Yeah.
across genres that was going on at that point because it was yeah, like riding ATVs in the mud, trucks like out wheeling, and
Oh
just
yeah,
that
yeah.
like that raw like not rock and roll, but like rock and roll attitude. And if and isn't
Yes.
wasn't she sort of
Mhm.
sourced from like John Rich? Didn't he sort of take a like roll the dice on her?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They actually wrote like Redneck Woman and a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, I think for me, like as I've thought back through the years,
Mhm.
I think the reason why that probably just really resonated with me
Yeah.
when she came out singing Redneck Woman is, you know, she at the time in country music in that early 2000s, there was nobody like her. Like you said, it kind of just cut through,
Mhm.
but she looked like a girl that I would go to school with,
Yeah.
you know, and she was just real and raw. I mean, she wasn't like this blonde Barbie. And I mean, she was just real. And she also started writing all of her own songs. And she wrote a lot of them, yes, with John Rich.
Mhm.
But like at the time, no one was really writing songs.
Yeah.
And so that made me go as a kid, like, whoa, wait a second. You can write songs for a living? What does that mean? Right. So I think she really got me kind of like into the whole songwriting thing. And then on top of it, like being an artist. But I think it was just the first time, as much as I loved country music, that I could look at somebody and go, I could do that, right? Because she was just a real person or just a real chick out there doing cool stuff. And I'm like, I love this. Like, I want to do that.
Yeah, that when you kind of identify that and it's like, "Hey, like that's just like a that could be me." That's rad. Yeah, I think she was yeah, super influential clearly, right? And somebody that
Yeah.
always stood out for me in the genre. So, in your career so far, what is your favorite venue that you've played to date?
Ooh, that's a good question. There's so many great ones that is honestly kind of hard to answer. I think one though that will always live in my mind is my very first time playing the Bluebird Cafe here in Nashville.
All right.
That that was definitely a special one. It was sold out, of course. It was in, so it was I've played it a couple of times now, and every time is special. But that first time was special because not only was it my first, but also it was actually one of the first real shows Chris and I ever played together. Because we'd been dating, but I was like, you know, like we can't do this thing, and I was wrong, clearly, right? So that kind of sticks out though, because it's like that's kind of one of the first bigger real shows we played together. But thirdly, it actually was right before the lockdown
Okay.
um in 2020. So it was like this packed, sold out show. I mean, people were literally in each other's laps. You could feel the energy in the room. You could feel the history in the room. I mean, it was just incredible. And then I remember, you know, literally just a couple weeks later, it was just like all of that was gone, you know? And so then I think that kind of made it more impactful, more sweet, right? More wanting to hopefully get back and do that again, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just such a great show for so many reasons, and I think that will always just live in my mind as just something super special.
Absolutely. Was there any like inspiration, speaking of sort of that era, right, that we all went through, was there any
Mhm.
aspect of that that influenced any of your songwriting at all?
Oh, yeah, I think so for sure.
Mhm.
I feel like you can find inspiration in so many
Right.
places, truthfully. And I also write songs too. Like when I moved to town, I actually moved here to be a songwriter.
Okay.
I had no actual intent of being an artist. I just thought I'd write songs for other people. So I could write a song about a bag of Cheetos if you if you wanted me to. I mean, I'll just I feel very inspired by everything, right? Just everything around me, and I'll write a song about anything. But yeah, I was here in town for I guess it was about a year or two, and then a manager, a very successful manager here in town, told me, "You're an artist," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" And so then I kind of started to figure that out for myself and kind of go down this journey, which I'm grateful to him for doing. But yeah, I mean, I just get inspiration everywhere.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you stop and think about that. Like, we never know, right? Like, what events will transpire, right, to get us like to where we're meant to. Because like hearing you sing, I couldn't imagine you not singing because I'm only seeing it through my lens.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it was rough. I went through a lot
yeah,
in the time period of 2020, kind of
yeah.
after that show. But like my husband and I, we actually lost our home and music was
Oh, I'm
gone. And I mean,
sorry.
we went through a lot. Oh no, it's hey, seriously, I really appreciate that, but it all worked out
Yeah,
and it's all good. And things are so much better now. And honestly, it's just it was part of life. And I think God works everything out the way that it's supposed to be. And so we just kind of put our faith in him and kept on trucking. But I didn't, I was at one point, I mean, man, when I said we lost everything, I mean, we lost everything. And I didn't even hum or sing a note for over a year, if you can imagine that. So it was kind of in 2021, kind of summer of then, that I
mhm,
actually started to get back into music again. And I just, again, it's part of it. I mean, this is kind of part
yeah.
of what made me the artist and the storyteller. And there's another song that I put out last year, which I actually wrote during the pandemic, kind of a tongue in cheek song, very fun, called Cigarette,
It
because
is.
I was inspired. Yeah, it's just fun. It's a
Yeah,
fun song, but kind of about the world going down the toilet. And it's like, there's some lines in there that I think just my brother said it really well when he first heard that song. He's like, that's your personality. So there's stuff in there like you do what you can because you can't do it all. And just, just kind of trying to laugh a little bit. Even though this is really serious and it sucks, it's like you just gotta just roll with the punches, man. Right? Just do your thing. So really proud of that song. But I think that's a great example of during that time, maybe something that I wrote where you can kind of see I was clearly inspired by the events happening in the world for sure.
yeah, yeah. You know, the Lord certainly works in mysterious ways, and what I like about that specific track is it's like tastefully edgy without being like, you know what I mean? It's like good natured. Yeah, I dug it because you kind of hear the intro and you're like, oh, like is this like serious? Is this it's sort of like a news clip? But
Yeah.
yeah, I think anybody could relate to that song like 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun to write and record for sure. So yeah, with the guitar riffs and all, I was like, we just need to do basically like a modern day Allman Brothers. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
So
Allman
it's
Brothers.
a lot of fun. Yeah.
I love it. Is there because you said something and I'm gonna like just extract this real quick. You said your mom was
Sure.
really into 80s, like hair music?
Yeah. So, our family dog growing up was named Bon Jovi, if that tells you anything.
Get out.
My mom, yeah, yeah, my mom loves the 80s. And I love like, some groups that stand out. I really enjoy Heart, the
Yeah.
band Heart. I love Bon Jovi clearly.
Uh-huh.
My husband Chris is a huge classic rock guy.
There you go.
Like when I met him, he literally, I mean, he had the nail polish and the whole 9 yards. He was,
Sweet.
he didn't
Love
even
it.
play country when I met him. Oh, dude, he was a very different person. But yeah, he was, I mean, Eddie Van Halen was like his hero. I mean, the reason why he picked up a guitar. So
Dig it.
yeah. And, I love too, like Joan Jett.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about, like CMT. I don't know. Have you ever seen the show CMT Crossroads where like they bring the two different
Absolutely.
artists together?
Yes.
Okay. So if
Mhm.
I ever got to do a CMT Crossroads,
All right.
I would love to do it with Joan Jett. Joan Jett.
Yeah, she's like real deal, you know?
Oh, I love her. I love her. I think she's a great example of like clearly a total, rocker and all, but
Yeah.
like if you really break down the lyrics of her songs, they're country songs. Like they're story songs. I'm like, they're just fantastic. So yeah, I'm a huge like Joan Jett fan. Love her.
That is, yeah, that's rad. It yeah, love that generation. So do you by chance have a dog that's like named Richie Sambora to keep this Bon Jovi theme alive?
Maybe I should, but I don't. Yeah. I actually have a golden retriever
Oh,
named
sweet.
Melody, but we call her Mel for short.
Sorry, Melody, I
And
didn't mean
she's
to. Yeah.
literally like, oh, it's okay. We'll start calling her Richie now and she'll get confused, but it's kind of cute. It's kind of funny. But yeah, and then I have I don't know if this counts. I do have a beta fish named Buck Owens. Cause when you're from Bakersfield, like, be proud. So yeah, I named my beta fish Buck Owens. And then there's like a couple of little fish. They're like little neon tetras. And those are all named after his original backing band, the Buckaroos. So Don Doyle, Willie, and Merle. So yeah, but maybe the next dog will be Richie Sambora.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I'm
That
gonna
is.
write that down.
And I think the beta fish count. I mean, all they have to do is get ready for the joke. Here it comes. Is act naturally. Um,
That was
da.
really good, man.
Somebody hit the snare drum and the cymbal. That was.
Yeah, please.
I might have it somewhere on my soundboard, but I'm not going to hunt it down and figure that out now. So if you were to like walk on stage right now, what's your guitar of choice? What's your go-to?
Well, if we're doing an acoustic show,
Yep.
which is usually just Chris and I,
Okay.
it is my Gibson J200. I love that guitar. So big jumbo acoustic. Nothing can beat that. If we're doing a full band show, I love to play this. It's a reissue, just Mexican Telly. It's a 1972 thin line reissue,
Uh-huh.
and it has these two humbucker pickups in it.
There you
And I love that guitar. I love that guitar. So that's kind of my main one right now.
That's so rad because I've never ever seen a telly of that ilk without humbuckers in it. Like that's such a rad recipe for a guitar. Like that is like that's a tried and true approach, and it like they work like so well every time.
Yeah, they sit really great in a track. They're awesome. I should probably tattle on myself if we're going to talk about gear. So I'm a huge gearhead, and so is my husband. We actually own like 42 guitars
Is that
in our house, right? Yeah, that's it. Only 42. But we're going to get more. Don't worry. We're still working on it.
I'm not. I
But
know
yeah,
where y'all met,
we have a
so
lot
I'm
of
not worried
guitars.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, but yeah, a lot of people are like, why do you need 42 guitars? I'm like, because they all sound different. And when with the tracks, you record. But yeah, if we need to play a part and have it sound away, we probably have something in this room that will make that sound that we want. And that makes it fun.
Yeah, that's remarkable. It's all like colors and layers anyways, right? So it's having that
Yeah, it really
right
is.
voice
Yeah.
for. So you're currently in the studio, and like how's that process going, and what does that look like with you and Chris?
Man, we are having so much fun. I mean, I've always enjoyed being in the studio, like always, but I'm just having a lot of fun right now creating music. So we went in a couple months ago, and we actually are recording a lot. I think we're working on, let's see, six new songs,
Okay.
which we'll release, throughout the rest of this year and into next year.
Nice.
But I'm just excited. I've gotten, I think, to the point where I feel like in some ways I've just really kind of got down I don't know what you call it, maybe a formula or a method. And
Okay.
so yeah, we've had a blast though. We had so I Pat Lassiter is my producer. He's also a legendary bass player. So he did Stuck on Indiana, and I think, well, he's actually done all of my tracks, I guess, that I've ever put out. So I've worked with Pat for years and I love him, and we have just a good working relationship. But yeah, so Pat engineers and produces the records with me. He also plays bass. He's played with like the Charlie Daniels Band, Lori Morgan, a lot of just great
Yeah,
classic
there's
country.
some more 90s
So
country for you. So he
yeah, that's probably why you hear it. Yeah. Oh no, so
so he's
he's
the
awesome. So
he's
yeah,
the sorry, go ahead.
oh no, you're good. But yeah, so we have him basically playing bass on
Yeah.
all these songs, and we also then have a drummer that we have recently started working with. He's playing on all of this new material that will be coming out.
Mhm.
His name is Charlie Morgan, incredible drummer. He's played with a lot of different people, has an insane resume, but he played with like Elton John for like, I think it was like 13 years
No way.
on the road and in the studio. Oh yeah, he's played with he did like the James Bond theme song. I mean, this guy is incredible. So
There you go.
really interesting though, because he's not per se by trait a country drummer,
Yeah.
but we work so well together that it's like, this is awesome. So yeah, so we got all the basic tracks done. So we're just going through and kind of nailing down parts and vocals and mixing. But we have a lot of just cool stuff, and I'm kind of branching out and doing some different things.
Okay.
Like I can tell you right now, I'm actually, this past week I was in the studio a bunch.
All right.
I'm actually going to release a 7-minute song. So basically,
Hell
think
yeah.
of the country version of Freebird.
Love it.
That's what we're going for.
Let's
But
go. Let's go.
yeah, dude, it's just wild and fun. But no, I'm really excited for people to hear all the new music that we're working on. I'm just having a lot of fun with it, and I truly think it's my best stuff yet.
Love it. I can't wait to hear it, especially all of it, but a 7-minute song. That's
Hey,
rad.
yeah.
And it sounds like
Yeah.
you've got the right drummer, because probably the connection over genre is key, and somebody, I'm just gonna, just take a leap here. He's probably amazing. And then it sounds like you've got it's always fun throwing out the term groove merchant. That's just how I think of bass players. It's like,
Yes.
you know what I
Yes,
mean?
totally.
It's just like
I may need to
that
steal
thick,
that. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So no, wish you all the best in that endeavor, and we'll be for sure looking forward to that. So if you could, and I mean really anybody, with us or not, like if you could open or just play a show with anybody, like what's your bucket list? Like
Oh,
who would you play with?
Brandy Clark. That's my goal. I would love to open a show, go on tour with. If I could write a song with her, I'd die. I'd die happy. But yeah, Brandy Clark is that top of the list for me.
Heck yeah. I say it almost every episode. You learn something new every day. So I'm gonna check out Brandy Clark. That's awesome.
Please do.
Yeah.
My favorite artist and songwriter of all time. She's amazing, incredible storyteller, incredible. So yeah,
Heck yeah.
You'll love her, I'm sure.
Stoked. Yeah, stoked. That's like the beautiful thing about, music in general. It's like, here we are talking, love your music, gonna learn something new. Where would you like to direct folks listening to the No Tape Deck pod? What's the best place to go check you out and get connected?
Yeah, I always tell people just to head to my website, which is ashtaylor.com.
Mm-hmm.
And there you'll find every way possible to connect with me. I joke there's everything on there about me except for maybe my blood type,
Okay.
although that might be on there as well. So everything's there. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. There's links to everything, though, just on my website, ashtaylor.com.
Is there like a landing page like dedicated to the PT Cruiser on there? Just curious. Is there like a?
There should be.
There
Should be, but
Yeah.
there's not. I need to get on that. I'm sorry, I'm slacking, but I'll get on it.
There's no need to
It
apologize.
will be there.
It lives in your heart. It's okay. I get it.
It lives in my memory.
Yeah.
I was kind of mean to that car. I called it a PT loser Um, so instead of cruiser, it was loser. But yeah, may it rest in peace.
R.I.P. That's a weird way of saying, thanks for being my home. But no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, we've all had a,
Maybe I have some issues with it.
hey, it's okay. It's some things, the best things in life sometimes are a love hate for sure. No,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So through the site, and then of course, you've got a rad YouTube presence and social media presence, and I've just like super enjoyed getting acquainted with you, and then again, thank you so much for coming on, and I know the folks are gonna check you out, and yeah, just rad. I love it. Love what you're doing, Chris, and your husband as well, and all that good stuff. So and furthermore, just can't wait to hear the new material.
Ah, well, thank you so much. And thank you just for having me on and being awesome and letting me come on and share my story. And yeah, if anyone is listening and ends up going and finding me somewhere else on the internet, please say hi. Let me know, that you listen to this and tell me what your favorite part was. I always love to meet and connect with new folks. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Ash Taylor, episode number 10. So it's like officially official. That's like two whole hands. That's all the fingers. Well, unless you're a wood shop
Nice.
teacher. That's bad joke. But yeah, so it's official now. We have 10 episodes under our belt, and for some reason on the last couple episodes, it has slipped my mind. But it's a crazy world out there, and please be kind to one another. And thank you again, Ash Taylor, so much. Also, kudos to husband Chris for the time, everybody's time this evening. It doesn't go unnoticed. And thanks again for swinging by.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Really appreciate it.
Likewise, take care.